Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're jumping right into the world of business intelligence, or BI for short. We're going to explore why so many companies are making a big shift away from scattered department-level data and moving toward one single, unified strategy for the entire organization.
So let's start with a scenario that I'm sure is painfully familiar to a lot of you. You're in a big meeting, you ask a seemingly simple question like, hey, what were our sales last quarter? And suddenly you've got three different answers from three different teams. It's frustrating, right? So why on earth does this keep happening?
Well, the heart of the issue is something called analytic silos. Think of it like this. When every department goes off and does its own thing, buys its own tools, builds its own reports, they're basically creating these disconnected islands of data. Each island has its own rules, its own definitions, and its own unique view of the business. And this isn't just a theoretical problem. The numbers are pretty wild. The average organization is actually juggling 3.2 different BI tools from completely separate vendors. That's not just a little overlap, that's a whole lot of money and complexity tied up in redundant tech. But hold on, because it gets even crazier. When you actually count every single module, every reporting tool, every analysis tool, every dashboarding tool, that number just explodes to an average of 13 in a single company. I mean, with that much noise, is it any wonder you get different answers to the same question? It's basically a recipe for data chaos. Okay, that sounds like a total mess. So if these disconnected, siloed approaches are the problem, what's the solution? How do companies get out of this mess and start moving toward a single version of the truth?
The answer is to think bigger. That's where enterprise business intelligence comes in. It's all about shifting from that tactical department-by-department mindset to a coordinated, strategic one for the whole company. The end goal here is to create one single, reliable source of information that everyone, and I mean everyone, from the front lines to the executive suite, can actually trust and use to make decisions. And this table here, it just lays out the difference perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way, departmental BI. It's disjointed, it's inconsistent, and it leads straight to those conflicting answers we talked about. But on the right, you have the enterprise model. It's coordinated, it's built on a single source of truth, and it drives aligned decisions. It's a total game changer in how a business operates with its data. All right, that all makes a ton of sense on paper. But let's be realistic. Changing how an entire organization approaches its data is a massive project. So what's the tipping point? What are the key things that actually push a company to say, okay, we have to do this? You know, it really boils down to two huge drivers. First, and this is the biggest piece of the pie at 45%, is cost. It's just flat out expensive to manage all those different licenses, support contracts, and training programs. But right behind it, at 40%, is the critical need for information consistency. Leaders just get fed up with wasting time in meetings arguing about whose numbers are correct. So the motivation is all about cost and consistency. But what happens after a company takes the plunge? What are the real, tangible benefits they see? What's the actual payoff? The payoff is huge, and it creates this incredible ripple effect through the whole business. It's like a chain reaction. When you start with consistent data, you get clearer communication. That saves a ton of time and money, which in turn enables fact-based decisions, and all of that leads to the ultimate prize, aligning the entire business. Let's just zoom in on that saves time and money point for a second. This is about so much more than just cutting software license fees. The bigger win is that you free up your analysts. They can stop being human data warehouses, spending all day just grabbing and cleaning data, and they can finally start doing the high-value analysis that actually moves the business forward. And this is where the strategic value really kicks in. With consistent, reliable data right at their fingertips, people can finally move past relying only on gut feelings. They can actually test their intuition with real facts, make way smarter decisions, and build strategies that are grounded in reality, not just guesswork. This all sounds incredibly powerful, but how does it all come together to hit that ultimate goal we keep talking about, actually aligning the entire organization? It all comes down to creating a common vocabulary. When your sales team, your marketing team, and your finance team all define customer and revenue in the exact same way, using the exact same data, your meetings are completely transformed. You stop arguing about whose spreadsheet is right, and you start talking about what the numbers mean and what you're going to do about it together. And that brings us to a really interesting final thought.
The ultimate goal isn't just about having pretty dashboards. It's about getting to a point where the data and the BI tools are so woven into the fabric of the company that they become invisible, kind of like electricity. It's just there, it works, and it powers smarter decisions everywhere without anyone even having to think about it. That's when you know you've truly succeeded.
And that's our look at the critical shift to enterprise BI. If you found this useful for connecting the dots, do us a favor and like, share, and subscribe for more explainers just like this one. Thanks for watching.